Kamala Harris voters, I'm going to make you feel good and understand what's really going on. Pay attention, my fellow liberals and leftists. It is August 29, 2025. And guess what? Here's the thing. I'm going to break everything down. Listen to the end. This is going to be a minute, but I'm going to break down news that's going to make you feel 1,000% better, okay? So I'm going to be talking fast, so just roll with me here, okay? So the first thing is, those who don't know me, my name's Darren Monroe. I used to work on Kamala Harris's campaign on the engagement team, one of 30,000. I have 30 years marketing branding experience working for Universal, DreamWorks, MCA, iHeartMedia, Clear Channel Radio, a whole bunch of big companies, and I marketed over $4 billion worth of films from Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars, as well as did the marketing for Jay-Z, Eminem, Limp Bizkit, Nelly Furtado, The Roots, and some of the most famous people in the world right here promoting their projects in Chicago. Well, here, let me explain something to you. There's some bad news before I have the good news. Now listen very carefully. The bad news is this. The troops are here, and they're just getting ready to be deployed. The good news is we ready. Now, when I say that, I want to be very carefully coded as I say that. One, we're ready because there's nothing to deploy to, okay? If he was really brave, he would have deployed them troops when we were in George Floyd mode when it was riots, but he didn't do that. He's a punk ass. He don't do that. So the whole idea is he's trying to manufacture drama that ain't there. And here's what me and my good friend, my best friend, Leon Q. Allen, came up with. We were like, you know what? Everybody who sees troop deployments, when they sitting there on the corner, instead of just going up and protesting them, yes, protest ICE, fuck them, but the troops who are following orders, shit, we should have a party. Let's do a block party. Start playing some house music, throwing out, give them some barbecues, some food, show them ain't nothing going on. It just looks, because it makes Trump look like an idiot if we did that. It's like, how they gonna have violence? It's a party. It's a party. Have a party, Chi-Town. That's what I'm saying. And let's show the nation how we do, okay? Let's show them how we do, because there ain't nothing to show, Hey, here's the thing. The next good news, I think that would be good news and great news because we're prepared and there's nothing to go to, and he's going to look stupid. And sending ICE and sending troops to Chicago, I believe, is a blessing in disguise, going to make him look like the bigger fool that he actually is. Now, let's go to the next good news. This morning, we got a hearing going on with Lisa Cook, with the judge, black judge, and Trump's going to call that card, oh, it's because she's black that you defended her. No, it's because she's a real-ass judge and she defends the law, unlike your crooked ass trying to attack another black woman. Is the only black woman, only federal governor, only governor of the Fed in 21-year history that ever been challenged like this. Had to be a black woman, and the first black woman in 121 years. What an embarrassment. And he's trying to do it so, again, he can take over the feds and vote out Powell. He wants to cut out Powell so he can lower interest rates. First time anybody's ever done this. It's totally illegal. The stuff they're trying to, rein her in on happened. Her mortgage happened when she wasn't the governor of the feds. So how you going to hold somebody for something that they weren't even in a position to represent from? And it's questionable if she did anything wrong. And she hasn't been indicted, and you're coming with this BS charge. It's just over and over a BS charge. But he's going to lose, and what I believe is going to happen, according to good old Michael Popok from Legal AF, big shout out to Popok. I love just saying Popok. Basically, he's like, listen, they're going to have a restraining order against the Trump administration. They're going to shut this down, boom, like that, and I believe so too. The lower courts rock, and it's not that they're Democratic judges. There's 677 judges across 94 districts across 50 states, and there's a lot of them that are mad at that national injunction and the way that the Supreme Court's been happening. And over the last 31 weeks, we know the judges have been standing on business in the lower courts because we've had Trump-appointed, Reagan-appointed, and Bush-appointed judges too. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Darren, it's going to be the Supreme Court. Here's what nobody tells you on the left about the Supreme Court. They only see 1% of the cases. They can't handle everything. They can't handle the truth, which they can't handle everything. They can't. They ain't even stepping up already about it. He's trying to bring this up and kind of hit around and be like, listen, we're going to kick this to lower courts. I don't think they're going to they ain't going to touch that Fed Lisa Court. It's just not happening, even at their level, even though they're doing some questionable crap, right? So that's good news. We're going to win that one and beat them down. There's another thing happening. The CDC done gone rogue and been the head of CDC and some of the top people been like, fuck this. Because the Trump administration with that crazy RFK has been asking them to roll back stuff on COVID after all those deaths that happened under Trump's watch. And you know what's so funny? There are white people who forgive this man so much. I heard a couple of people live in TikTok last night talking about, well, the one thing I can give him is him rolling out the COVID stuff. I'm like, yeah, no. That was Congress on his ass about it. And on top of that, it's after people died. He cost people thousands of lives with his foolishness. And now here he is at the CDC with the audacity to tell them, we want you to roll it back, and the CDC's fighting back. Now, why is that good news? Because finally we got people standing up and supporting on business, even the people who've been nominated by him. He's gone too far and he's losing. The other good news is he only has so much long. It's 365 days. Keep listening to me, y'all. Keep listening. 365 days. He'll be resigning. He may be gone by Christmas, and I mean that in the form of resign and I say that not in a celebratory way. I don't think anybody should. Karma's a bitch. So I'm not even saying that. But what I'm saying is his health ain't good. They're trying to drain his feed and his bond, his eye. And I'm saying that as a person who is battling to get healthy himself. I do not have congestive heart failure, but I will tell you this. I've had episodes where I was in trouble. And I'm going to tell you, in 2023, and I'll tell you right now, is nothing to joke around with. And I'm telling you, this guy is in the most busiest, stressed job in the world. And he's sending troops over here, but at the same time, he's letting Putin bomb American companies and injure Americans who are building electronics in Ukraine. He's like, oh, I told Putin he shouldn't do that. But you're going to send troops to blue cities when it's been statistically proven by the universities, which is the ones you attack, of course, that the real crimes happening is in the red states. They have a bigger problem than we do. And, as far as statistically speaking, and crime is down here in Chicago. So I know some of you want to stress out, but as I say in my clarity group, no, we're running a marathon with a bunch of sprinters. They're losing. How do we know we're losing? Well, how do we know they're losing? Excuse me. And that is because if you look at the numbers, if you look at temporary injunctions, permanent injunctions, if you look at statewide injunctions, the national injunctions that they had before they banned them, and you look at court cases, this man is roughly 18 and 114. He just lost another one. That's another happy mode. He's getting turned down left and right. And at one point, it's just even getting hard to track because of this stupidity. What I really want you to understand, he's going to be in the hundreds of losses at this rate over the next 3 years, and we got time that we have to wait him out. The other good news is Kamala's going to be president. Yeah, I said it. Kamala's going to be president. I have a report I did on the back end of the Clarity Group called Pathway to Presidency. I'll give you the free version very carefully, which is 1, she's doing a book tour now through the end of the year and going into the beginning of the new year. 2, she's supporting the midterm elections. If she's smart, and I know she is, she's going to support a lot of down-ticket people because they need it. The National Democratic Party, I've told you this repeatedly if you've been on my channel. Hopefully by now I've earned your subscription. Here's the thing. They're not giving money to down ticket like they should, whereas the Republicans are at record pace funding the down ticket. Now, is that good news? No, but there is good news to this that comes up with this, and I'm going to break it down like this. We are investing more into left creators getting more noise and being able to be supported. That is important. I'll get to that in a minute because there's some drama going on with that. But here's the thing. The big part of this that I really want to zoom into is that once Kamala is helping the midterms, when we go into early 2027, she's going to announce and she's going to run. She's running under the same timetable as Barack Obama when he announced in 2007. And he ran for 20 months, and nobody expected him to win, even me, nobody. And sure enough, he killed it. And she's going to kill it. But she's coming back at bigger gangbuster levels. Seriously. Grassroots campaign you've never heard of before, ever. Epic. What she did was epic. But they stole the you-know-what. But let me tell you about the good news with that. And I explained this in my Clarity group. Do you know there are 9 different types of investigations? Was 7, went to 8, now it's 9. The last 2 are Epstein and the civil and the Supreme Court. There's something going on in that Supreme Court. They're doing something. Something's up. They're ruling against their own judicial branch. It's not that they have a different ideology. I mean, I understood why they did Roe versus Wade being conservative. I don't agree with it when they reversed that. And people didn't believe that could happen. That's the thing that gets black people frustrated. It's like, wait a minute. We told y'all that this was going to be a headache and it was going to be a problem. And women didn't believe it in 2016. And when they reversed Roe versus Wade, it was like, oh, shit. And then in 2020, we had people who voted, but we told them 2024, listen, do not sit on the couch on this because he's coming for even more of your women's rights. He's coming. Kamala was not going to keep you. It ain't over till it's over. Do not preconceive this because somebody could steal the you know what. And they did. So there were women who didn't show up, but then the you know what was stolen. I'll give it that. It ain't all just the women ain't showing up. And then things I have on the back end of the Clarity group, like why the math ain't mathing with the election. And I tell you something that nobody else publicly even admits. They don't even talk about. Because somebody wanted a recount. And somebody else didn't support it. That's what I'm hearing. And I go into details on the back end of my Clarity group. That's why I getting that motherfucker. And I'm getting ready to take it to 2.0, Clarity Group 2.0. Here's the other thing I want you to understand. It's really good news for this, because that may seem like bad news, but the great news is that we have 9 different investigations being financed by very wealthy people. There are 5 different types of civil wars, and I point this out in a report called 5 different types of civil wars in the Clarity Group, and one of which is the wealthy. The wealthy people are not all in alignment with Donald Trump. I know. You got listening to Bernie Sanders, and that is the Democratic speech. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Trust me. I've already heard it. 700 plus billionaires, 22 million plus millionaires are not all in alignment with Trump. Go to the wealthy elite in any major city. That's New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Houston, even Houston, yes. In red states, they are not happy. And what I'm telling you, because he's fucking up the economy, y'all. We getting ready to hit a crash real bad for no reason. He's fucked up with these tariffs. He's pissed our closest allies off, whether it be India, Canada, Australia, or the UK. I mean, how are you pissing off the UK, France, Canada, Mexico, Australia? India is a critical ally against China. And he's freaking pissing him off. Dumbass. He's a dumbass. And we're going to hit it. We're going to feel it. But the good news is this. He's tyranny with a time clock. The other countries realize it's more him. It's just like the whole Brexit England thing when they had Boris, the idiot, guy that they had. We got an idiot guy. And they know that. They know this is not the American sentiment. This is a group of people who've been able to steal power and get in there. So the good news is that they're not reacting according. Even Iran didn't react the way that we expected them to, because they realized they got nut job Trump on there, and he would just play off of the drama that they kick off. People are smart; they get it. That's good news. Here's more good news. The other good news you got to understand is this: because he's pissed off the judicial branch, it's about to be one. When he, let's put it like this, when he resigns and or if he dies, he loses, basically the Republican Party loses a lot of, in the executive branch loses a lot of power. J.D. Vance, yes, they'll support him, but they won't have the same respect and move like that, especially in, check this out, the GOP Congress. There's more good news coming up, too. I want to talk about, there's two things I want to talk about that's really going to be deep. One is going to be the attack on the creator left, and the other part that I'm going to talk about first is this budget. The budget, they got to refinance the country, and there's a chance to do a hold on the country again. And Schumer ain't about to take 9 senators and do this stupid shit again. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. He should have been gone, I know. So should Jeffries. I put videos out in the past about that. Binge watch all my content. I'm telling you, I've said it. But here's the problem. It takes the Senate, who are Democrats, to challenge Schumer. It takes the House of Representatives, who are Democrats, to challenge Jeffries. Neither has happened. The problem is, it really Jeffries or Schumer, or the people who are allowing this nut job to continue? Think about that. Think about that. Here's the other thing I want you to understand. If I make strange noises here, I'm moving around this chair kind of weirdly. Here's the thing I want you to understand about that. The really big noise that we begin to see out of this is going to come from the GOP departing after he's gone. And he could be gone inside of 365 days, maybe sooner. He may not even make it to Christmas at this level. I'm not wishing anything on him. I believe karma's a B. I'm not going to be the one talking about, ooh, I wish he gone. No. And you shouldn't either. Don't put that energy out in my comments. Don't do that. Don't do that, y'all. Keep it moving. We're on, not just on good energy, but on karma. Leave it alone. Let God's will take care of it. The universe, whatever you believe. Here's the other thing that's really fantastic. I love seeing the left grow. There's an ironic thing that happened, and I'll talk about it probably later in a video, because I'm still processing it, and I'm going to do a report this morning when I get done with this with the Clarity Group. So if you're in the Clarity Group, you will see me talk about this in detail immediately. There's some drama went down in the last, 24, 36 hours with the left. Let me point out something. Wired magazine put out an article by a lady. I'm not even going to give power to her name. You could just look it up. Wired magazine creators. You Google that, you'll find out about the whole article. But here's the thing I will talk about. I will take this on. And this is what I'm going to have a deeper dive in video on. I think it's really good news. Is that 8 months ago, there was a diagram that Wired put out after the election of the red right, the blue left, and how much the red right in independent podcasters and creators outnumbered and outpowered the left. I thought it was excellent, because it's a call to arms for the left to get more creative content out. Here's the problem the left has with that. And again, I'll do a deep dive in a video today, I promise. But the issue that the left has in the creators world is over money. And see, I've been running a business on my own for the last 20 years. I started from a female paid for a hotel 20 years ago to this very day, to this very week. I was running. I was in a FEMA paid for a hotel first in Memphis, and then I drove over to Texas, San Antonio, in the in-town suites on Bandera, right? I don't know if it's still there, but 20 years ago. And I said, I ain't going back. There's nothing to go back to. This Chicago guy knew nothing about hurricanes in New Orleans. And I was working, for those of you in New Orleans, for Q93, FM 98, Amen 940, you know. And it was an honor to work with them as the assistant director of promotions. I was the head of all the community work there. And I know people who literally died. And so it just freaks me out when I think about it this week. But I'll tell you this, I am blessed and highly favored. The last 20 years, I have not needed a job. That's why I have a money makers group. You should also join, because that's going 2.0 as well. And you should be joining that immediately and get locked in, because the price it really should be is going to be there soon, very soon. You should get in while you can and learn how you can monetize your opinion, your thoughts, your words. Don't have to be in politics. It can be in anything. There are people making money with, teaching calligraphy. There are people making money teaching experience with parenting and dads. There are people and mothers and grandparents, and they're making money with that. All you're doing is taking your information, your knowledge, your experience, your talent, your skills, turning it into money online. It has never been a bigger time to get fuck you money. Really, honestly, truth, facts. Now, that said, link in the description and on the homepage of my, YouTube. I had to throw that out there. Let me tell you something about some money, though, that I learned over the last 20 years. Get your bag. If you're going to do something you love, you're passionate about, speak on it, and get your bag. Show up. Don't be perfect. There's no such thing. Go for it. I'm a fat guy, 55 years old as of December, with a bald head, and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people follow me across the web, just in politics alone. I'm telling you, I got a brand. But, you could have one too. You don't have to be a cute, cuddly black guy. Some of you, you had a disadvantage being one, but nobody's perfect, baby. Here's the thing I want all of you to understand about this, because I'm going to bring it back to these left creators. These left creators, the good news is they're finally catching on. Oh, I got to go ahead and do this, but I need to finance it somewhere. And they're trying to figure out. I've created private communities. I got another one coming in a week for laughter. How do liberals laughter? I got a liberal laughter group coming in on how do you smile more and feel 1,000% better in the midst of Trumpism. Real talk, real shit, But these creators need to be, monetizing their money. It's okay to be. But unfortunately, there's a couple of things. People are dealing with poverty mindsets because they've never had this model before. They've worked jobs, God bless them. And two, some of them are falling for the poverty guilt trips. That's why I'm doing a whole video dedicated talking about it. Poverty guilt trips. Now, here's what happened with the Wire magazine. Just keep following me. There was a creator who's getting money herself, according to, sources. But she's talking about these left creators, who some of which got millions of followers, other which got hundreds of thousands down to tens of thousands. And they're part of this thing called Chorus. And Chorus is not dark money. They're not secretly financed. They're not controlling their thoughts for the Democratic edge. They're there to help build better creators. So they're doing it. Basically, they're doing their version of what I do with the moneymakers, which is, I'm going to show you how to become better. What I'm trying to get all of you to understand is that it's okay. Capitalism is the enemy. Character is. As I said earlier, there's 700 billionaires plus and 22 million millionaires, and all of them don't like Trump, and some of them are financing his demise in 9 different investigations. I'm pointing out, I'm doing that 9. I did originally 8 in the back end of Clarity. I did 9. Only reason I don't put them out here is because my content keeps getting flagged for telling truth. Can you believe that on social media during Trumpism? No, right? So here's the thing that's really interesting about this. The good news is that they're being financed. The bad news is that this article, just look up Wired Left Creators, LEFT creators. You'll see them attacking these creators, and then go over to the creators' social media, who they are. Who are they attacking? Brian Tyler Cohen, Too Raw, Too Real, Booker Squared. They're attacking our Aaron Partners. They're attacking Aaron Partners, but Aaron Partners took kind of a middle road response. I think Tyler did a great job, and I think there's some other left people that I'm going to talk about in a totally different video who did a great job with this, responding on it very carefully and breaking this down. But understand this, these left creators got a right, and they should earn a bag if they got great content. Why should they be doing this for free on a billion-dollar platform? On billion-dollar platforms. Y'all have seen several commercials by the time we got to this. Why should they be doing it for free? There's an old saying by the Joker character from Batman. If you're good at something, you should never do it for free. Totally. I give you guys thousands of videos. Honestly, in the last year, tens of thousands of videos. But thousands of videos across social media for free. And I'm training you for free. But I'm value. I should have a top-tier premier groups that you can get in. The laughter one is only $5, so you should definitely get in that one. You will love it. If you love my comedy and you want to give it a community that can laugh as liberals through all the hell so we can get through it and support each other, you will love that when it comes available next Friday. Next Friday. But you know what you can do to get ahead of that? You can go to DarrenMonroe.com and say, I want to be in your laughter group. Don't just say, I want to be in your group. Just say, I want to be in your laughter group. Because the other groups are in the description. The other groups are on the homepage. The laughter group isn't yet. But you definitely will say, Darren, I want to be in your $5 laughter group. $5 laughter group. Put that in your headline and email me. Go to DarrenMonroe.com. Okay? But I want you to understand. And I'll add you manually to a list, okay, of people I'm going to reach out to, because I'm going to do an early launch. I'll have more videos on that. In fact, I'm going to go live on here on YouTube talking about it. But here's what I want you to understand. All these left people should be getting a bag, and I'm glad to see that that is happening, because the Wired article was talking about them. Oh, you're part of dark money. You're doing bad things. They're not doing any bad things. They got attacked. Particularly, the writer of that article, she attacked the black folks really wrong. She even got on social media to attack the black folks. I noticed when the white men responded, she was calling out. When they responded, there was 3 of them in particular. She didn't even so much as leave a comment in their videos. But the black folks she went after. Candace Owens likes her. Tucker Carlson likes her. But she's supposed to be on the left. Remember what I said? There are people on the left who claiming to be on the left, but they ain't right. Maybe they are. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. So what I want you to understand is be cool. The good news is these left creators are making it. They are all awesome. Everybody I mentioned are awesome. I may not agree 100% with some of them, particularly Aaron Partners, who's a nice young man, but the problem is he doesn't have more of a direct opinion, whether it's polarizing or not. Fuck that. We need polarizing opinions. They go right, we go left. Fuck that up, down with Michelle. They go right, we go further left. That's what should be happening for 2028. Now, here's the other good news I want to give you. Understand, and let's recap on this. There are people investigating these people, and eventually, in a matter of 3.5 years, somebody's going to catch up with them. There's going to be trials. I know you want it to be sooner, but who they going to bring it to, y'all? Who in the world are they going to bring it to? There's nobody to bring it to. Who are they going to call? Ghostbusters? Now, here's the thing. There's another thing happening where they're trying to take out Lisa Cook. She got a good chance. We'll find out in the hearing later today on what happened, okay? Because the hearing's happening in a matter of an hour or two. It's happening. The other thing that we got that's going in our big advantage is the fact that we have the judicial branch lower courts who basically see 99% of the court cases. We have the standing on law, We have the CDC standing on law. We have the 23 governors and attorney generals standing on law, including big shout out to J.B. Pritzker and Kwame Raoul in Illinois here. We also have the game plan for when they send troops and what to do, whether it be in Chicago or wherever. We ready. We've seen it 1,000 miles away. We also have the individual ACLU, the black folks, the NAACP Urban League. They've been fighting. They've been going, taking them to court. Hell, we even got the American Bar Association that sued twice, and so far one of the cases they won. Remember I told you 18 and 100 and what's that, 14 that they got? That's his court record. One of those 114 is the American Bar Association. Here's another thing. This is a big one. You ready for this one? You ready to smile? Hang in there. I told you I'm giving you stuff. I'm giving you gold nuggets here. Here's what they don't report enough of. There are 500. I didn't even know there were 500 law firms in this country. 500 that have dedicated to fight Trump and give resources to people who are fighting the immigration, fighting ICE, who are fighting the court cases that are going on, whether it be the gerrymandering in Texas. There are people fighting. He picked a fight with all those lawyers. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Oh my God. We are banding together. Do you see that? We're banding together. How do I know about this stuff? I want to wrap it up like this. The reason I know about this stuff so well, everybody, is because I'm a Katrina evacuee. And when Bush failed us, Governor Blanco in Louisiana failed us, when Ray Nagin, the mayor of New Orleans, failed us, the people got disgusted and rose up. I've never seen so many people help us from around the country and even the world. Think about it. Remember when that tragic event with those girls dying? They were dying in a flood, and they couldn't get the money in Texas because Kristi Noem made a stop hold. You can't spend money right away. You got to get approval. 72 hours went by, and them girls, somebody could have been saved. So Mexico did what? They rolled in through the river and started saving people. And as they were trying to save somebody, these fools were arresting them, putting them in cuffs for coming to save lives. Well, I remember when Mexico got the okay, and this case they didn't get the okay because they knew they wasn't getting the okay. They said, fuck it, we're going to just take the chance to save lives. That's dope as fuck with Mexico, man. But here's the thing. I remember when Mexico got the okay to come in with the army. That was the first time they had an army in Texas and come through and give out water in Louisiana since Santa Ana, man. They came in and gave out water. Now you got Mexico's giving out bottled water. I'm like, what? They rocked. The people pulled together nationally and internationally for Hurricane Katrina. They did. Where the government failed us on every level. Nationally, federally, state, and local in the cities. At least in New Orleans, where I was. There were some small town mayors and so on who really did a good job. I want to shout out that. But I want you to understand, in every state that was affected. But, main ones being Louisiana, Mississippi. Florida got hit a little bit, but, Florida's always prepared. They were on top of it. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that right now, we're having the same Katrina-like situation, but politically, and America is pulling together. And that's why I say that we should be happy. It's good news because it's bringing more activism and togetherness with us. I want to say something in final note here, and that is this. This had to happen. There were people who did not believe that this motherfucking fool would come in here and do all this stupid shit. Brown people didn't believe it. Africans, black Africans, and Caribbean people didn't believe it. Asian people definitely did not believe it because they're the highest earners in America. They get in the bag. They didn't think somebody would turn on them like this. They kind of forgot, some of which forgot their own history, you know, because they went out of their way to make Asians go away when they started, after they built the railroad and they were sitting there looking like they were holding things down in the West. And we as black people tried to tell them what's going on. You're missing the point. Whatever issue you got with Kamala, there's an issue. And most definitely those Palestinian, I get sick every time I talk about Gaza. Notice I don't talk about Gaza too much because I tell people Gaza's dead. And guess who killed it? The people who claim to be protesting for it went after all of Kamala's campaigns, but they didn't show up once to Trump's campaigns. It's not that you protest at Kamala's. Remember the first time they did that and she looked back at him and she was like, oh, okay, let Trump be president then. She looked like this. And then a consultant told her, oh, well, you got to be kind of gentle. I'm like, no, you need to be real Kamala. The same one who said to Oprah, somebody come in my house, they getting shot. That is the most American saying ever. That ain't a black folk saying. That's a every folk saying. We know. Everybody know that. But what people didn't know on the Palestinian protesters, and we got to bring that back to them. Not to say, thumb my nose at them, be like, you didn't do this. No, it's tell them, listen, we told you this man was going to make Trump's Gaza. You told you this man lie like a rug. That's why we call him Persian Oriental. We know this man suffers from diabetes. He need a truth insulin. We told you, and you didn't listen. Going into 2026 and 28, you better be moving your ass like fast. We don't want to hear this Palestinian protest shit. We told you. You brought this fool in. Some of y'all supported him out in Michigan, out in key battleground states. And you were so busy attacking Kamala, you couldn't see it. And then there's an underlying issue we have. And here's the good news. There's a lot of us who know it, and we're bringing it up. And the progressive movement are fighting back with the Democrats. And that is a powerful thing, whether it be Mamdani, AOC, or Jasmine Crockett, or others. Here's the understanding. You had an opportunity as our brown Palestinian people to stand up against this man. And you chose not to, you chose to attack her. But you're not telling the real truth, because some of you were in your bag about voting for a black Indian woman married to a Jew. Some of you were in your bag, and you're not alone. The Latino community had that. And the Latinos who did, like the 60% Latinas, they come back to me all the time across the web saying, Darren, we got our own white Latino problem. See, the biggest thing, and there were white women who ghosted the polls. It wasn't just that the math wasn't matching and the you-know-what got stolen. There were white women who ghosted the polls. And here's what I'm telling white women. Instead of just going out there and talking about ICE and fighting and so on, let's really talk. Get at your fellow white women and talk to them, who you know sat on the couch, and tell them reasons why they need to be moving in the next 16 plus months to get vote in 2026 and 2028. Because if you don't do that, then you protesting ICE and all this other stuff, you're missing the point. Your real effectiveness is in confronting the white women who did not vote and the ones who voted MAGA and now they're upset. Your power is there. You can do that. This is according to Malcolm X over 50, 60 years ago. The biggest power you can take on is something that black people can't do. You can talk in circles. Black people can't do. Men, you need to confront, especially white men, need to confront other white men. What I loved about Michael Popak yesterday when he was talking about Lisa Cook in the legal case, Legal AF, I love them. Big shout out to him. Definitely support him, follow him. and he's got a Substack too. Subscribe to his Substack. Big. Let me point out some of these black folks too. Joy Reid, subscribe to her Substack. There's some other great sources out there that got Substacks that you need to subscribe to. Definitely the Black and Brown as well. Big shout out. I'll have a list in the future. But here's the thing I want you to understand, Michael, that I loved about Michael Popak. And I love saying Popak, Popak. If you listen this far into the comments, put in the comments, Popak. With those little eye memes, the little eye emoji, Popak. I know you heard me. If you heard me at this moment, Popak. Well, here's the thing that's great about Michael Popak. He started calling out. He said, listen, this is ridiculous what's happening to black women. It's ridiculous. And we know darn well you didn't listen to black women and you went off and did your own thing, and he's attacking them. And that's the tragedy that black women are shamelessly dealing with, that black men are trying to support and hold and console them on. They're mad. They're upset. You know, I might have to start another community. Here we go. Might have to start another one. I feel my spirit calling it. Sun shining on me. I feel the spirit. Community for the black folks as well. Y'all want that? Put a comment in there, black folks. Let me know. Let me know you're watching and hearing. Here's the thing. Michael Popak called it out. And the reason I'm bringing up Michael Popak is because he did something that many white men need to continue to do. And there are many white men who are, thank God. And that is calling out the racism from white men, white people in general. Because that's the problem. Just like as men, guys, we got to call out this misogyny bullshit. It wasn't the economy. And that's the biggest part with the Democratic Party. It wasn't the economy. It was misogyny, racism, prejudice, homophobia, xenophobia. And for those who are wondering, racism and prejudice aren't the same thing. Too often people get called racist when they're really just prejudiced. Anybody can be prejudiced, black, white, green, purple. But black folks can't be racist. Racism is a systematic economic thing that only white people in America can do, particularly white men. And those white men need to talk to white men. They need a coalition with white men and address that shit that I just talked about. Prejudice, racism, misogyny, homophobia, xenophobia. White women need to talk to white women who supported Kamala and go back and say, yo, all this stuff happening, because everybody kept coming at me, oh my God, could he take women's rights? And it was usually white women. And I'm like, yeah. Well, what do we do? I said, first of all, there's very little you can do other than contacting your Congress and putting word out, the truth, and spreading word. Yeah, you can do that. But the biggest thing that white women can do right now, in this very moment and second, is confront with other and coalition with other white women to fight and contact and speak with white women. The thing that white men can do who voted Kamala, white men for Kamala, is coalition with other white men who are seeing the results of Trump, who might have voted for him or sat on the couch. Same thing with white women. Now, let me go down the line. Things that Latino people can do within. And I realize when I say Latino, there are 33 nations and like 4 different regions. But understand very clearly what Latinos can do in general to talk. Now, Latina women voted at 60%. So they did a good job. But what can you do to talk to these men? What Latino men can talk to Latino men? While this shit is happening, we told y'all, and I'm not even talking about just the MAGA people, but the people who sat on the couch and played left. Same thing go for my black, Caribbean, and African brothers and sisters. What can you do? And oh, by the way, the Cubans thought they were untouchable. Huh? What you think? Haitians, you should have showed up. You saw how he was treating y'all during the election. Now you need to be a mega force. And Caribbeans, they're going after you too. You know they don't know the difference between Haitian, Jamaican, Dominican. You know they don't know. They don't know. Trinidadian, they don't know. Okay? Here's the other thing that should happen. Really big deal. and you just hear me out on this. What we should be doing as men, and I'll say it again, is coalition with other men who had a problem voting for that black Indian woman married to the Jew. Because that was bullshit. There's some black men, there's some Latino men, there's white men, there's Asian men who really were in their bag about that. Fuck you. Seriously. Now, the second largest group beyond beyond African Americans who voted 85%, men and women, for Kamala Harris was actually the Jews. The Jews voted at 75%. And they need to coalition with more Jews. And the brown people, the brown Arabs and people in Middle East, man, I'm saying to y'all too, you need a coalition with other Arab Americans and get with them and talk this out. But here's the good news. Again, I keep talking about good news all during this time. And the good news is you got a good subject matter that they're open and listening to. You had a problem with Kamala? Okay, what you think of this ICE? You have a problem with Kamala? What do you think he's doing with the tariffs and the economy? You got a problem with Kamala? What about all the silly shit that he's doing? We're going to have WWE in the White House. We got Epstein files. We got... What you think of that? How you think wait a minute. Here's the best one. You got a problem with Kamala? You got a problem with whoever? Okay. What do you think of Trump Gaza? This would be a mic drop if it wasn't connected. What you think of Trump Gaza? What you think now? Didn't fuck with her way back then, but how about now? Whether it be Kamala, the head person for a primary, which she coming back, telling y'all to beat him. See how the sun's shining on me as I say that? It's happening. It's happening. I even put money on Cowshe on it. I got money coming. For real. 30 to 1 odds, baby. $6,000. I think I put 100. I should put another 1,200 on it. Let's go. 60 grand. Let's go. Here's the thing. Everybody I talk to, you should be going and talking to them. And the good news is it's going to be easy to talk to them than it was before he got elected. You don't have to sell nobody who's being shipped off to other countries illegally, even if they're Americans. You don't have to sell anybody on the idea of him ruining stuff when white men are getting in trouble, losing jobs, getting screwed over. And then they're like, oh, we didn't pay for this. Yeah, right. White women shouldn't be hard to talk to when they're losing their rights. They're getting violated every damn time by his policies. Asian people shouldn't be that hard to talk to because you see how he's shipping y'all off too and treating y'all like a bag of crap. Here you are, worked hard in this country, whether you're multi-generational Asian or you just got here, and now he's going to send 600,000 more Asians to come in and get the American dream. How you think that's going to go with your competition? A lot of screw over. A lot of touchdown. And what I'm trying to get everybody to understand is you can feel horrible about it, or you can do something about it. What you going to do about it? What you going to do? What you going to do, Cletus? Because it's one thing to say, it's one thing to talk, it's one thing to run your mouth, but what you going to do? Well, in my clarity group, I'm pointing out, listen, there's only so much you can do out there. You can contact Congress. You can join Indivisible, ACLU. And yes, those are good things to join. And do that. Your vote does matter. Your message does matter. Don't sit on the sideline. You see how that worked. And even if you're in a red state, you can still, here's what I tell people in red states, because I lived in a red state for 12, 13 years, okay? 2 of them, Louisiana, and for the most part, 12 years in Texas. Yeehaw! I worked on Obama's campaign in Texas. Let me tell you something that's powerful. In Texas and Florida, the 2 largest red states, all their cities are blue. So you can support the blue states, the red states, in the blue cities, whether you live in one or not, And you can support them in their counties and parishes and their cities because they need help. They are fighting. Support them. And then pick a state. Again, here in Chicago. 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 Pick Illinois. J.B. Pritzker. Kwame Raoul, our Attorney General. Pick New York. You know, Kathy Hochul and Letitia James is gangster. Pick Minnesota. You got Tim Walz. You got, DeWitt over in Michigan. And, of course, Gavin Newsom, who's holding it down. I'm trying to tell you, the good news is that the more they do this, the more they piss us off. And with all these investigations, with all of this marathon running, with all of this stuff happening, we gonna make it. We gonna make it because we got a marathon. And yes, we got a long way to go. That's the bad news. 41 months to go, even with J.D. Vance. But I don't know if Trump gonna make it through them 41 months from the way he looking. Don't look good. But I'm gonna tell you this. Kamala Harris voters, we know the math ain't math. And by the way, one of the 9 things I talk about the investigation on, the election. There are people looking at it. Hey, listen, I'm here in Chicago. Y'all know where I'm at. I'm here in Chicago, right? Who's the most famous gangster in Chicago? Al Capone, right? Of course. Who is the accountant that basically brought him down? Nobody knows for $1 million. Here's the interesting part about that, too. How did they get an accountant looking into that? Wasn't like the Untouchables running around and they got his accountant. No, they found an accountant provided to them by the President of the United States. Well, I just said them. Who am I talking about? I'm connecting the dots here. There were businessmen, one of which was Woolworth, who started the 5 and Dime, the Woolworth stores. And it was about 4 of them, 4 to 6 of them went to the president and said, man, there's violence in here with this gangster. We need help. He said, I'm going to send you something that makes sense. We're going to get an accountant. Let's see how we can get him. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that the new gangster Trump has fired thousands of federal investigators. Some got their jobs back, but he was firing people out the FBI, CIA, NSA. Tulsi Gabbard has been doing cuts, and she says she's going to cut another 30 to 50% of the intelligence agency. They cut a bunch of people out the Pentagon. Where are those people going to go? That's why they're trying to fuck with Jack Smith right now. They're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid of Jack Smith. But here's the one way that Trump goes to jail guaranteed. I got a video that got almost 70,000 views on it. Binge watch it. Here's the thing. The one thing, we got thousands of investigators. But fuck Jack Smith. Here's the most gangster thing that ever happens. And we're going to go back to Al Capone and the guy who, and the nameless accountant paper pusher that brought him down. Trump doesn't have one. He had thousands of those people. Some of which are doing it on their own time while working in the government. Others are retired. Others have quit in the midst of Trumpism or before. Others took the buyout that they were offered. Others were fired and didn't get their jobs back. You putting them out on the streets. Now, if you work for the government, you got clearance, especially in the intelligence community and so on, you get hired by corporations, some of which are wealthy people being on our side that are hiring. Who? I can't say who. I've heard suggestions, but the reality is I can't say who. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Because there are wealthy people who are very upset about what's happening, both socially conscious people, but there's also people who are very low-key. Do you know these business people that got Al Capone? To this day, nobody can name all of them. I know the Woolworth guy, but they can't name all of them. And nobody knew about them. Real gangsters move in silence. For real. And so you got these wealthy people. I ain't making this up. I ain't got a tinfoil thing on my head. I'm trying to tell you, you got wealthy people who are looking into this. Again, you get in my clarity group. You can see me talk about it in depth. The idea is they got wealthy people doing this. And they mad. And they're upset. They don't want any they don't want any attention to themselves. Again, real gangsters move in silence. There's a major day of reckoning coming for this motherfucker. I swear to you on my mother and father's graves. You know, when you think about it, and I say this often, there was only one president that fired a bunch of intelligence people, and it wasn't even a lot of people. It was like a few key people. That was JFK. Now, I'm not encouraging any violence or wishing any violence on the president, his family, or the vice president, or any of that shit. I'm just telling you that he only had a handful of investigative people. Look at what happened to him. I'm not saying they're coming or somebody's coming to kill him, because if I knew that, I mean, for sure, if I really knew that, I'd report it. Not just because I don't want to go to jail or being part of that, but also karma-wise. You just watch somebody do that and you genuinely know something, it could come back on you, man. Karma's a bitch. Karma's going to hit Elon. Elon's going to jail. That's the other good news. It's just a matter of time. They are doing it right in front of your face. The grifting is literally happening right in front of our face. The way Elon went into those departments and wouldn't even let the Congress people in, right in front of our face. They're doing it like, fuck you. And I'm telling you, they only have so much time. Even Elon knows this. He's so arrogant but stupid. This guy said to Congress, said, listen, this man got 3 years. I got 30. Who you want to deal with? He's tyranny with a time clock. And his time's running out. We are winning. Stop thinking for 1 second that he runs everything. The Supreme Court can only handle 1%, even if they were on his side. And his score, like I said, his court score is horrible. We don't talk enough about this on the left. The other thing I want you to understand is that there's a bigger picture to this. What's the bigger picture? We're going to become strong as a democracy in a country. Kamala Harris is going to be president. All respects to Newsom and anybody else who want to try. Kamala Harris is coming back like gangbusters. Think about what she did in 107 days. Galvanized $1 billion. Got all the people together behind her. Now, there's going to be naysayers again, because, again, we got a problem with the Democratic Party with misogyny, racism, homophobia, xenophobia, prejudice. But here's the part where it gets interesting. We are poised to make a bigger comeback, or should I say Kamala back, in 2026 and 2028. And Kamala is the best president candidate anyway. Not because she was VP, but because she's been in a unique position to know how to get shit turned back. The good news, the greatest news I can end this with in this hour-long session is this, everybody. Every shit they turned down, these pieces of shit, every single one of them. The great part about our country, as soon as we in that role, we can turn that bitch right back. Biden rolled back, he erased hundreds of executive orders, Trump did, in his first term. We can do this, but it's going to be reconstruction time. Basically, Kamala's going to have a job like Obama. Everybody talked about Obama so bad. His failed policy. He's a horrible guy. That guy saved this nation, man. Saved the nation. But the audacity of white racism just didn't confront the shit. But this time, Kamala need to come back and start talking about the raw shit. She need to go more progressive. She need to be the female Mamdani. Come back. Fuck it. I'm going to give out free lunches, free food. I'm going to make this. I'm going to bring it back. Bring that beat back. We're going to make it through this. That's why the sun's shining on me. We're going to make it through this, Kamala Harris people. Our best days are ahead of us. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, 1, subscribe to my channel. Hopefully, I've earned it, right? 2, I want you to follow the next video coming that's going to pop up here when it ends. 3, I want you to binge watch the next 10, 20 of my videos here. And 4, if you're really trying to get help and go from chaos to clarity and remove the terror from your heart, get in my clarity group. If you've really been praying to God to find a way to earn some extra money, all I do is open my mouth and do this in the political niche, the gaming niche, in the advisory niche, in the several niches, and make a serious bag of money. I'm not supported by political PAC groups or whatever. I'm really independent, been independent. That's why I was able to work on Kamala's campaign for free. I did not get any money for that, y'all. I was part of an engagement team that didn't get jack crap as they stole the you-know-what. So get into my company while you can, because that price is doubling up at the very least. Get in while you can. We're at Clarity Group and Moneymaker Group 1.0. But we're going to 2.0. Now, some of you heard earlier, I got a laughter group called the Laughter Liberal Group. If you want in on that and be on the cutting edge on that, go to DarrenMonroe.com. I don't have any links out or anything yet. It's coming next Friday. Go to DarrenMonroe.com and put in the title, $5 Laughter Group. That's the only one that's $5. Everything else is more money, but the $5 laughter group is that, and it's always going to stay that way. You should invest in your laughter. What are you investing in now to make you laugh and happy and understand how to smile? It's a combination of personal development and jokes. I will make you laugh, and we'll be sharing memes as a community. It's going to be a really great cutting edge thing. Nobody in the world put anything together like this. It's like basically having your own personal development for liberals. That's what it comes down to. It's laughter. You should laugh. You're more valuable than you think. I love y'all, no matter what you do. And don't profess how much money you don't have for my groups, blah, blah. You got $5 for laughter. Reach out at DarrenMonroe.com. But the whole idea is, if you don't do that, that's okay. Just go ahead and follow me here and share this video and share my other content. Binge watch it. Binge watch it. Binge watch it. Look at my playlist. Binge watch it. I love y'all. It's going to be all right. We're going to make it through this. Kamala Harris voters, hopefully I made you feel good and understand what's really going on. It is August 29th, Friday. Thank God it's Friday, but thank God we're making it through this. We made it through 31 weeks of Trumpism, and we're going to make it through another 41 plus. We got this. We going to make it.